Yes. We're cooking is a snap. We are going to just go over a little bit what we talked about last time. Today's content will go over the MyPlate food group, serving sizes, how to add more vegetables to your meals, how to prepare your kitchen for cooking. And then, of course, we'll be making the stir fry and action planning. We talked about the dates. So I don't, you guys can't see the PowerPoint, but we have a picture of the MyPlate.
Yeah, and I was gonna add, sorry, before I share the presentation, if you want Liz and Katie to be really big in your screen, you can just click view on the top right of your corner. And instead of clicking gallery view, hit speaker view. And so when they're talking, they'll be big and you can see more what they're doing when they're cutting and sharing techniques and stuff. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. But yeah, let me share your presentation and keep things going.
Oh, yeah. Yep, once that's up.
Okay, I think we're on like 6 or 7.
All right, right
awesome.
there.
Thank you.
So we went over this last time. I was gonna say last week because it's usually weekly, but it was last month. This is our little MyPlate. You know, we always want our plate half fruits and vegetables, a quarter grains, whole grains, and a quarter of protein, so healthy protein, lean meats, chicken, fish. If you're not a meat eater, it could be a kind of soy product, or beans. And then we have our little dairy cup in the corner, and that can be substituted, obviously, if you're lactose intolerant, for like almond or soy milk. So whatever your preference is.
We also, we can be reminded by this to limit our sodium and saturated fat and added sugars. So whatever you can substitute a sugary drink with an unsugared drink or water, it's going to make a difference in your health. Katie was checking the rice cooker. Some of you are at home and you started doing some things already.
I've never used one, so hopefully this will be a success.
Okay, so today's demo, the next slide is going to be the basic stir fry and brown rice. And because there's so much to do in this, we're going to get started and then we'll do more talking as we go. So what is the first thing we need to do before we start cooking?
Anyone?
Wash our hands. Yes, we wash our hands and make sure that your kitchen is all ready to get started. So last time we talked about, next slide please, mise en place. And remember in our discussion, it's a French word that means everything is put in its place. So food professionals use this phrase to describe the process, setting up everything you'll need to prepare your dish. So let's do that. Let's get started.
Yay!
All right, so let's go wash our hands. I'll have Katie start that. And then let's look at our recipe. So once you wash your hands, we'll go to the next slide. We've already planned our work. I've sent out the recipes ahead of time. And so that we knew what tools we would need. Next slide. We prioritized what we needed to do. And that would be rinsing and chopping the vegetables first. So I did send out an email. Hopefully you got it, that you could marinate your chicken and get your vegetables washed. So you're ready to start cutting now with Katie.
So we had a bunch of vegetables to wash and cut. We cut bulk. So I've cut most of it, but I have some to show as how my cutting skills are slowly improving.
Okay, so while Katie is doing that, I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna get the marinated chicken going in our skillet.
So with a couple of these, we just left them whole. Like if you want, you can absolutely cut your sugar snap peas. We just left them whole because we'll just throw them in there. I don't know if I've seen a stir fry with cut ones, but hey, there's a first for everything.
Yeah.
And then we did these mushrooms were already cut, so we just rinsed them. And I normally don't cook with mushrooms, so Liz says they shrink when they cook. So we'll see that happen.
Obviously, if they're too large, you can cut them smaller.
Yes.
But I think that look beautiful.
Yeah, they're not crazy big and they're already cut really nice. And then, so we can start with cabbage. This was a half a cabbage. It had a little butt on it. I don't know if anyone can see me. Can they see me? Sorry. Okay, I didn't know.
Yes, I can see you.
Oh, hi, Joyce. So get so excited when I see Joyce. We have our little butt end. It came off on it was in half and then I quartered it again. So you just take your knife, make sure they're sharp. This one's not the sharpest. So it makes it cutting a little more challenging, but super similar to last time. You're just gonna down, put all your little weight in it. Make sure you have your little bear claws so you're not cutting your fingers. Like I said, I'm not a chopped chef quite yet, but it's coming along. My husband be proud of me.
Okay. I have a question. If you did receive the meal kit, was your chicken cut up small enough? Because mine's not, and I didn't realize that because I just put it to marinate.
No. I did a little trimming too.
Well, I wish I would have been paying attention. I didn't have my glasses on because I was steaming up when I was in here getting set up. So all I did was put it in the marinade and put it in the fridge. We got the chicken strips.
And there's a couple little harder root pieces if you don't want to put them in. You don't have to, or you can cut them up real small. It's really up to you for that little bit of cabbage. You do you.
Well, it smells good. So I'll talk a little bit about the marinade that some of you, if you haven't done yours already. It smells delicious in here. I don't know if Caitlin can smell it throughout the building right now. But we started out with some garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. And let's see if you can see me here. Okay, and so the garlic, a trick that we usually do is once you've separated the cloves, we put the knife flat on it and we just push down. You don't have to pound on it, but it should just come apart nice and easy. And then you can peel it. So once you peeled it, then you can mince it. And then if you haven't used fresh ginger before, be prepared for aromatherapy. It smells wonderful. So I'm just going to take a nice big chunk off of here. And what we did is we used this adorable little grater.
No,
I
that
don't
is-
have one of these. This is really cute. And all I did was grate it on here. And I did that prior to you joining us today. And I mixed that in with the soy sauce and our apple cider vinegar. So that was so simple. That's all I did. And then we put it in the fridge and we started prepping for the rest of the recipe. Back to Katie. Yay.
And it was so weird. It brought me back to elder exercise when I was cutting up my celery. So obviously I missed my elder exercise group because I'm a pro at cutting celery. Oh, hold on.
Is that the rice cooker? Wow.
It is. Stop. Okay, I'm gonna pause for a sec and check on our rice. See how it turned out.
If you have a rice cooker at home, some of them are they're automatic and they go to warm when they're done. And they don't make music.
That was just my phone time.
Oh, that was your phone.
That was my
I thought
phone.
that was the rice cooker. I was like,
No, that
wow,
was my phone.
that's fancy. So I'm gonna turn the chicken down. And I'm gonna try to stop my computer from falling asleep quickly. Something happened on it.
Yeah, wow. I think we could have added a little more liquid to our rice. So I'm gonna do that.
Okay, while Katie's doing that, we can go back to our notes. We're gonna pass up step 3 with collecting tools on the presentation. And then we collected all the ingredients, obviously. So these are just reminders what to do when you're cooking. So we can just kind of scroll through step 3 and step 4 without making people too dizzy. And so what we're doing now is prepping all the ingredients in step 5. And of course, we set up our workstation. You can see here that we're using an electric skillet. You might be using on your stove, a big fry pan. You might be using a wok if you have one. And if you're using any of those, they all work just fine. So, and then we have the recipe. If you want to blow that up on the screen, that's the next slide, I believe, after our workstation. There we go.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
recipe.
Oh, I must have sent you the wrong one. Sorry. How did that happen? That's interesting.
It happens. Okay, so back to my celery. I should have left the whole thing whole and I could have cut it up myself.
I
So,
think you got the wrong presentation.
so we have the, the whole celery stalk. I cut off the tips to get rid of the leaves, and then I cut off the butts, and then I just peeled them apart. And I'm cutting it at like a 45-degree angle. So you're just coming down. So it's a pretty little angle. I don't know if you guys can see. Ooh.
That's okay. We won't use the slides.
Yeah, that's okay. So it's a pretty little angle. I don't know. It's really tiny. And then you just cut them.
Oh, there we go. I think she's got it. Yeah. I see the
Oops.
stir fry.
Some of those aren't as uniform. Like I said the last time, I wouldn't make it on chopped for very long, but that's okay.
I am going to start, it says in your directions, once your vegetables have chopped and you've got your chicken in the pan and marinate and cooking for 2 minutes, I'm going to move all the chicken over to one side, and I'm not going to take it out. It says you can take it out, but I'm going to leave it in there. And I'm going to add the vegetables, and it says to add the hardest vegetable first. So if you can see in the directions there, you're right there. So I'm going to start out with the carrots for sure. Wouldn't you say that's one of the hardest vegetables?
Yes. And same with the carrots. These were baby carrots. If you got full carrots that you had to peel, you can wash them, peel them. But I'm cutting it again at a 45-degree angle. The celery was easier than the carrots. I think it was a bigger carrot, it'd be easier. And it's literally just like an in half carrot.
Oh, here we go. Great. We also want to remind you, if you're cooking today, you have a lot of vegetables here. You will not need everything you cut up. So use your measuring cup. I'm going to measure 1 cup of each type of vegetable for a total of 8. And Katie can double check me that I have 8 here. But I'm going to do carrots first. And I'm only going to do a cup of them.
And then we had our 2 little heads of broccoli. They were pretty, well, I guess I shouldn't say little. I cut them in half. And then again, I'm going to 45-degree the stems. If you don't like the stems, that's fine. Chop them up a little bit. And then the little trees, the leaves, I like to call them, they can kind of start peeling apart. And if they're little enough, you don't have to cut them. Like this guy's just tiny. Otherwise, I'm just chopping as I go along because it's a small plate or cutting board. So this one's a little bigger. You can leave it if you like big pieces of vegetable. Otherwise, I'll just cut it in half. You do you.
Where Liz went. I decided I am taking the chicken out just because it's going to take a while for this to cook down, and I don't want my meat to be dried out.
Okay, next.
And then I can chop it up before I put it back in.
Next is our Bok Choy. I have never used this before ever. So super easy. It's kind of similar to that kale. You can eat the leaves. So you
can eat the leaves. I didn't know that, Katie.
You could. I didn't learn that till today either. So you kind of bunch it up together and you start at the white part, just a nice little chop. Remember, bear claw.
Remember, you can find these tips in your participant workbook.
And then just chop up the leaves the same way. Gives it a pretty green color. if your leaves fall apart, I kind of fold them so then they stay together just a little better.
Ooh, celery. I want celery.
Celery. Whoops. There goes my
I'm doing celery next because even when I'm making soups and stews, celery usually takes longer to cook down.
All right, onion. I cut the onion in half, so I did half already. Take off that little extra like darker brown skin, and then they have a little butt or whatever you want to call it. And I'm kind of chopping a long way. Whoops, you want it to stay together. And then I'm gonna do a little chop. So they're chopped up. More evenly. Nah. If you like it really small, you can use like a little slap chop. But otherwise, you get big pieces of onion. But they reduce down pretty small too. And then last but not least, our bell pepper. This brings me back to elder exercise too.
Where is our onion, Katie? I like to put onion in next. Onion. Oh, thank you.
And
I gotta keep remembering.
oh my gosh, ouch. Cabbage. Sorry, the onions are burning my eyes. So we have a red pepper and a yellow pepper. It came with an orange, but we have orange carrots. So there we go.
So I chose not to use orange carrots for presentation today.
Yes. And I added a little more liquid to our rice cooker. So hopefully our rice will turn out. So I've seen a bunch of ways to cut our pepper, like food waste weight, like so there's less food waste. I'm just gonna keep it simple for myself. So I cut usually, and like I said, a sharp knife really helps with this. So I cut one little piece off, and then I cut around the seeds. You don't really want the seeds in there. Turned out pretty good actually, if you ask me.
Wait. I am going to put bok choy in next. That's just, it's your preference. I think I want that to be just a little bit more cooked down. I'm using the leaves and the main stuff. We've been adding them about 2 to 3 minutes apart, like it says in the directions.
So with my pepper, there were some little staggering seeds left, so I went and rinsed them off. You don't have to, but I always do. And then we got some nice big pieces here. So I'm gonna like third them or cut them in 4, and then just nice big chops again. Make it really pretty.
Note to bring more prep bowls.
Yeah, bring more prep bowls next time.
What you need? Prep bowl for peppers? For pepper, right here. Right there. Under the bok choy.
Yep, under the bok choy.
Beautiful.
Anyone have any questions so far?
Yes, I was just about to ask you. So
Oh, you're good.
Sue was wondering about any recommendations for rice cookers that also steam dumplings and veggies. So I don't know if either of you know any, or if there's anyone on the call who has any recommendations.
I use the Cook's brand. But there's many different ones, many available, and sizes as well. If you have an Instant Pot, you can use it for rice as well. I'm putting my cabbage in. As you can tell, I'm not used to measuring. I keep wanting to just throw it in. To keep this consistent, I want to stick to 1 cup. Is there anything else in here? Onion, did I put? Yeah, yes, I put.
And then onions, yeah.
Thank you, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Sweet.
Who's all cooking tonight? How many? Can you give me a number? Thumbs up if you're cooking. Mary Lou, Jamie. Noah, who else? I'm gonna go ahead and put my broccoli in. That's too little amount. I put more in. Mm. Oh, it smells wonderful. All right. Here's our vibrant vegetables that you want to talk about.
All right. The rice figure's almost done, so fingers crossed I did it right. Oh, and two, we're using brown rice for this recipe, but if you had a bunch of wild rice at home too, you can absolutely sub it.
Tara's cooking too. Way to go.
And with this little rice cooker, it had some instructions on like it, you know, it has instructions for all kinds of rice, and wild rice is on that list. So that was really cool too.
I'm adding my peppers next.
Wow, that's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very nice. This was extra bok choy, so
Okay, I'm just
we
gonna
had a lot of
I'm
bok
just gonna throw it all together.
yeah.
And then I'm leaving my snow peas whole. Now they, you know, we did say sugar snap peas. You can use, they're similar, but they're flatter. And I'm not gonna try to measure those in a cup. I'm just gonna sprinkle them in. It looks so pretty. And I think I've used, almost everything except for the mushrooms, which we'll do last.
Yep.
Lots of bok choy and onion in there.
Like I said, I've never had bok choy, so this is gonna be interesting to try.
Do you think this is cooled off enough? Would you like to
Cut it?
cut the, yeah, the chicken?
Absolutely.
All right, I've got a knife here if you want to use this knife.
Perfect.
Yes. All right. I feel like we need background music or something.
I know that Tammy always likes to know, like, what is Jamie substituting for? And
Can't hear you.
What's the substitute stuff for?
Oh, yeah.
so I have a blend of kale, cabbage, carrots, beets, maybe, that I'm just throwing into my stir fry tonight.
Yeah, you
Already
could
all
really
cut
sub it.
Mhm.
You could sub any vegetable for anything you wanted, really.
You can also substitute frozen vegetables.
Yep.
Whatever you have handy in your refrigerator and freezer. Now, I used the whole thing of mushrooms. I didn't measure 1 cup. I think that's a lovely amount. They're gonna shrink down.
And yeah, with frozen vegetables, I think we talked about this last time. Whatever's in season or out of season is usually cheaper frozen. Anyway,
Oh, that looks beautiful.
it is pretty.
Beautiful. I gotta look back at my recipe. And it's telling me to mix my cold water and starch. So I'll do that while Katie's cutting the chicken up. But I already measured 1/4 cup. And we need to use the cornstarch. Two tablespoons.
Well, and if you're not a chicken person, you can always sub that for something
Uh-huh.
else too.
Or you could go all veggies and no meat. Right?
Yep. Or you could probably, if you wanted
Steak.
tofu, if you're a tofu person, venison, you know, anything you really want.
Pork.
Those are tiny.
Yeah, I'm just gonna set this aside for now. I don't need it yet. But it's ready for when we do. haven't set off the smoke alarm yet, so I think we're doing good.
Yep.
All right, so while we're waiting for the veggies to cook, we're gonna talk a little bit more about veggies. These are just a few examples that we're gonna share. You probably could go to the slides, Caitlin, on vibrant vegetables. And I'm thinking it is 20. I hope you have the right slideshow. Awesome, perfect. So someone has said about broccoli that they like vegetables, but I'm only the one in the family that likes broccoli. So my kids won't even eat anything green. They just leave them on their plate and then they get angry because of the green they're wasting. I get angry, not the kids, wasting by not eating them. I can't afford to buy food they won't eat, and it's not worth buying them just for me. What can I do? I've got some.
Oh, yeah. Anyone have any tips before I jump in?
Hold up, smells.
Anyone? Anyone? Joyce, you gotta have something.
Okay.
I'm calling you out, Joyce.
Any advice? We can give you some advice.
Yeah, we always can. I love to tease my people. So
But remember, there's lots of colors of vegetables, not
Yep.
just green.
So like like Jamie brought up, Tammy always brings up substituting stuff. So you can always sub it for something else. If no one likes broccoli, you can always swap it for something they like. Or slowly try and get them to start eating broccoli. My kids are 4 and 2, and that is a big challenge for me.
All right, I'm gonna put the chicken back in while she's talking.
Alrighty, are we done with this knife?
Yes, I'm done with the knife.
Here's my favorite way to eat broccoli because I do not like it steamed is
Okay.
to put it with some olive oil and roast it in the oven like 400. And then it makes it crunchy
Oh, yeah.
and it's that's my favorite way to eat
Brings
broccoli.
out a natural sugar in it too when you roast your
Right.
vegetables.
Yep.
Right. Well, some of the other ideas is to have your kids help cook because then they'll be more likely to want to taste it if they helped prepare it. Another thing is they could help plan it or pick out vegetables when you're shopping.
Had someone in the chat say put cheese on the veggies.
That's a good trick.
Cheese is always good. I'm not gonna deny
As
that.
long as you're using low-fat cheeses and cheese that's not high in sodium, there's lots of ways to make it more, tasteful, and that's okay. Katie and I went to a conference, and olive oil is the thing. It's good for you. So if it brings out the flavor by roasting it a little, you got to make it yummy. Oh, I'm gonna add my cornstarch now. Do you want to leave the next one?
Oh, yep.
I'll just have you touch it. since
Yep,
my
I
hand
did.
goes- Oh, you did.
So you can go to the next slide. And we kind of talked about subbing stuff too. So canned green beans. I want to eat more vegetables, but fresh vegetables are just too expensive. And if I don't use them right away, they spoil. Frozen and canned aren't as healthy. Can't I get the same vitamins from eating something else, like a vitamin pill? Does anyone have any comments before I make my own?
Oh, yeah.
That's good. It does smell very good.
Okay.
Anyone? Going once, going twice. All right, so frozen vegetables are just as diced really small and put in sauce like pasta sauce. Ooh, that's a good one for green beans. Oh, I missed oh yeah, I was just reading the comment.
Good comments.
So frozen and canned are really just as good as fresh. If you're finding a can that's not like a canned vegetable that's not stored in a bunch of salt. If, however, it is, you can rinse that with water and you're good to go.
Good tip.
So if, like I said just a little bit ago, if things aren't in season, frozen or canned is kind of the way to go. A little easier on your pocketbook because sometimes, like, what the heck? Watermelon. My daughter wanted a watermelon a couple of weeks ago, and I'm like, they're not in season. They're super expensive.
I wanted watermelon last weekend, but I
love-
didn't, I just couldn't pay $8 for this little thing at Walmart.
So we swapped it for like grapes or something. So that worked. But like I said, frozen and canned are just as healthy. It's just kind of identify if it's stored in like a salt water thing. I don't know what the heck it's called. Just rinse it in water first, and then you don't have extra sodium on it.
Awesome.
So next slide. Frozen peas. I don't have time to cook vegetables for every meal. That is the reality of the world sometimes. I work full time, and when I get home, I'm too tired to do something fancy. Cooking.
And I don't have a chef at home husband either.
Cooking healthy meals is like working overtime, and getting more than 2 or 3 foods on the table is too stressful. It seems like adding vegetables is bad for my health. Anyone want to comment on that? Anyone? No?
I can.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, the advice that we're going to give you today is that first, before you establish a new routine, it might feel like a lot of extra work to incorporate it into your diet and work. So just start with baby steps or take shortcuts that help you add veggies to your diets. And, add it, cut them in the fridge ahead of time so they're handy for you to add to your meal. That is really helpful. If you do it right when you get home from the grocery store, that is really helpful. Also, portioning it out for snacking.
Mm-hmm.
Or I love it when I watched my son on a nanny cam today make his own lunch. He got to be home alone for a little while.
Nice.
And he made a ham deli sandwich with all these fixings, and on the side he put a nice amount. He must have known I was watching. He did a nice amount of sugar snap peas.
Nice.
Yes, I mean he did a picture perfect MyPlate.
Right. And two, like you said, cutting them up before time, or you can get like the baby carrots and they're already ready to go. Like stuff that's easier or already prepped cuts off time a lot. But sometimes that pre-cut stuff is a little more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Just so you know, like pre-cut watermelon is ridiculous.
But when it's on sale, and if it is for something special,
Yeah.
Think of it this way: you might spend more money and buying some other types of food sometimes, but this is going to be healthier for you.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. All right, next slide, please. Carrots.
Those are my go-tos. I like carrots. They're super easy. That's why I like carrots.
I'll be the person. Carrots, we're a grab and go family. We're always running for work, to sports, to practice, to church activities, or helping out my mom. It seems like I hardly ever cook, so vegetables are really out of the question. Can we just eat a lot of fruit? Whoa, good question. Katie?
Get stuff that's already prepared and ready to go, or have it pre-cut right after the grocery store. I like carrots and peanut butter. I think that's a fabulous snack. My daughter, I don't know how it happened, but she likes ranch, which is fine. She still eats her vegetables. But I know like at Super One or Walmart, they have like the little grab and go containers of vegetables or fruit. But having stuff pre-cut already, or having your family as an activity prep it ahead of time before all of your activities, then you just boop, 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 and you're ready to rock and roll.
Okay. I also want to remind you that both fruits and vegetables, you get a lot of nutrients, but you're going to get more sugar if you're eating just fruit on the go. So you're really going to want to balance that out with fruits and vegetables. But great ideas about having it handy. Katie had mentioned, I was going to say butter, nut butters, but there's also hummus. And if you haven't had hummus before, it might be a little strange, but it is such a healthy food.
It's
and you
good.
can add so many things to it. I think we should make hummus sometime for a class.
I've never made it homemade, which would be fun, but they have a roasted red pepper hummus, I think at Walmart. That is awesome.
All right, let's move on to the green pepper. Okay, so I admit it, I don't like vegetables. I don't know how I could add them to my plate because I just don't like them. When I was a kid, my mother always told me to eat my vegetables like it was a punishment. I don't deserve it. I don't serve it. They're just not for me. Oh boy, what are we gonna do about that?
I feel this quote a lot. I have a very hard time eating vegetables.
Stuffed green peppers, yum.
But yes, Jamie just posted stuffed green peppers. That would be something I'd be totally willing to try. Let's see. Many people have had bad experience with vegetables, and I can relate to that totally. Growing up, my mom would always do canned green beans, and she would just make me eat them. And I absolutely do not like green beans to this day, fresh or canned. So I sub them for something else, but most of the time they were overcooked or prepared that a way that didn't taste right, or the texture was unappealing. So that's me. I'm a texture person, and it was just not my cup of tea. So one of the goals in this course is to encourage you to try vegetables again, which hopefully we are. We have a lot today. So you're getting me out of my comfort zone too. Trying vegetables to the foods that you like. There's lots of recipes like Jamie had posted. Stuffed green peppers.
Yum, that sounds so good.
So good.
But just trying to add more seasonings and trying to different ways of preparing them, you will find the way that works best for you, and encourage you to try that.
Or you could hide them in a smoothie.
Which,
You
yes,
put
it's
kale in a
true.
smoothie.
A lot of people do that.
You can put carrots. You could probably do any vegetable in a fruit smoothie, and you wouldn't even know it's there.
All right, smart shopping. Next slide, please.
So who makes lists for shopping?
I use my smartphone.
I do pen and paper, but then I have to remember my pen and paper.
That's why I use my smartphone.
I know I always have my phone, but I love, like, I don't know, I'm weird. I'm
I
one
like-
of those weird millennials.
I like to say, hey Siri, add to my notes.
That's good. I should probably be a
Oh, I
little more
better turn
tech
it off.
savvy. So like I said, we do our lists, we have them planned. I don't remember if we talked about this last time, but does anyone remember the best way to shop in a grocery store? I don't remember if we talked about this last time.
I don't remember. We talked about how it's okay to walk extra steps.
Oh, okay, that's what we talked about. So I'm gonna just give you a little extra tip.
Mhm.
You want to stay on the outside of Tammy's hungry. Tammy, you can eat. It's fine.
Yes, we're gonna be doing it the same.
We're just trying to educate at the same time. So when we're grocery shopping, and this could be a later class, but I just thought I'd bring it up now since we're talking about smart shopping. You want to stick to the outside of the aisle. Mary Lou, shop on a full tummy. Totally.
Well, you're going to our next, that's on our next slide.
Yes.
Let's go to the next slide. Okay,
Yeah, we can go to the next slide.
okay. So on our next slide, these are the things that we can do. And I'll let Katie read.
Yep.
And there's some notes
So
on there.
Mary Lou, it said, shopping on a full stomach. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to the grocery store starving and come back with a grocery cart full of not good food for me. So we make our list, check the store ads, which are super awesome. We'll do that. And we just me and my husband have totally different styles of shopping, which is super funny. I've been in green, shop the outside. That's where all the fresh, healthier objects are. And my husband goes up and down every aisle. So he gets the more treats and I try and get the more healthy stuff, but that could be just the mom and me too.
I like to shop my produce last so it stays nice and fresh.
That's smart. And I don't do that. I literally whoop, circle up and we're out of there. What do you like to eat? So like shopping for the stuff that you like, unless you're doing a family experiment, trying something completely different, which we've done before. So I'm hoping the rice turned out. I'm kind of nervous for
It
it.
does look amazing. I don't know if you can see this, but this is brown rice. And brown rice is going to have this more texture to it. It's got more fiber in it. It's much better for you than white rice. But
So,
so is wild rice better for you.
yes. So fingers crossed that we did a pretty good job here.
So step 2 in your plan, start a rough draft of your menu, plan using a list. So planning a menu before you go shopping.
Yep.
Like this is what I want to have this week. So we're on slide 27. Finish your meal plan and then make sure you put things on there. What do you like to eat? Use the meal planning guide. If you have the handout, if you have the participant book, list a main dish and 1 or 2 sides each day that you plan. Visualize MyPlate, that you're making sure you're adding enough vegetables and of course fruit, half your plate. And then check your family calendar, make sure you have time to cook. Like, what's on the schedule? Do we have sports? Do we have another event going on? And then post the meal plan on your refrigerator.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
I mean, then you might stick to it better, like,
Right.
so you don't buy all this stuff and it goes bad in your fridge.
Yep.
And then remember to follow your plan, and then you can switch your meals around to accommodate your family's schedule. Like, oh, I was gonna make this, big meal tonight like this, but we don't have time. And I know that, was it Tammy? She's gonna do it tomorrow night instead, right?
Tammy or Sue? I
So-
think it might have been
somebody.
Sue. Yeah, one of Sue, I think, yeah.
Yes, thank you. So there's lots of ways to change that around. And then step 3, your next slide. One more.
There you go. So we're making our shopping list. Like we've said, you may want to make your list on an envelope and put your coupons inside. Ooh, that's super good. Nowadays though, they have like online coupons, which is really nice too, because you always have your phone generally. And then tips to save money at the store, just like what I think it was Mary Lou said. Shop on a full stomach and stick to your list.
I also like the
Very hard,
idea
though.
somebody had about, like, if you absolutely have to bring your kids with you because you don't have a choice, make sure that you're bringing them when they're not ready for a nap, or that their tummies are full also. Make sure that you're bringing them there so that they can have the best shopping experience as long as you're there and other people around you too.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Okay, so remember to also include your children or the rest of your family, your partner, what you might want to have on that shopping list. And then we're going to talk about healthy eating and physical activity on the next one, while I dish up some of this lovely basic stir fry.
So if you guys have started eating, I kind of want to hear what you guys think so far before I talk about physical activity. So Tammy, I know you're hungry and I bet you probably ate some already. So I want to know what you think. I'm calling you out. Yummy. No one's gonna talk? Okay, I'll keep talking
Okay,
then.
so me
Oh,
me-
ha,
and Bill are eating right now.
alrighty.
The sauce could use less vinegar.
Okay.
Everything is delicious. I did all the vegetables that you gave us.
Oh,
Awesome.
yes.
I did every single thing and I have enough for like, I don't know, 30 people. I chopped everything up.
Recipe.
So tomorrow will be soup.
Oh, great idea.
Stone soup.
Yeah, this serves 8. So yeah, I mean, you're gonna have a lot of leftovers, or you could put them in freezer safe bins and then freeze them for later. Ooh. Okay, so healthy eating and physical activity action planning journal. So you should have got something super similar to this.
Could I add water chestnuts?
Absolutely not,
Yes.
Joyce. Just kidding.
I've got a plan in here for the next slide.
Oh,
It Tells
perfect.
you how to make one. And on the next one.
Okay, so you want to do stuff that what you will do and where you'll do it. You want to do something that you're gonna like to do. I think I mentioned this last time. My husband will not lift weights with me, but he will go play softball. That's the thing he likes to do. You want to make sure how you have the time and how long you'll do it. So remember, 150 minutes a week of physical activity. That can be broken up into 30 minutes, 5 days a week. If you don't have that set amount of time, you can always break it up into 2 15-minute increments or 3 10-minute increments. 1 tablespoon of soy sauce. Sorry, I didn't see all that, Jamie. And potential challenges and how you will cope with them. So what would you like to try? Oh, I'll wait for
I want
Karen.
to try this. That's what I want to try.
Okay, you guys go ahead. I'm gonna go on that potential challenges and how you cope with them. Everyone's got something going on in their lives. So if one day you're just, something had happened or you're just not, you're like, I just can't. That's okay. Make it up a different day or add a little more, add an extra walk one day. it's not, physical activity and eating right are not an all or nothing kind of thing. It's a very, I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. It is a very hard mindset to keep it that way. You don't want to say, oh, for the example, dang, I popped a tire, I'm gonna slash all the rest of them, because that's kind of what happens if you have kind of a crummy meal. It's like, oh, dang, so I'm just gonna eat crummy the rest of the day. So I am one of those people that can be like that sometimes. So I feel you if you're that way. So just, you literally got to take it one day at a time. Okay, next slide. If you're not eating the delicious food. What would you like to try? So who else, everyone else enjoy the food? Who's made it? I heard a couple people. Is it good?
It's good. I like the crunchy vegetables.
Okay, I gotta give it a try.
They should be crunchy, because it's stir fry.
I'm gonna try the Bok Choy first because I've never had it.
Okay, so you use the low sodium version of Kikkoman or Kikkoman. I used the Choy, but that's all they had on hand at Super One when I was shopping, but it is the low sodium. We always try to make the recipe with the recommendations for the class, because the purpose is, of course, learning to eat healthier.
Oh my God, I did a good job on the rice.
Yes, she did.
I'm pretty impressed with myself.
So I have a bottle of Joy sauce. I need more of that.
So that turned out really good. I'm pretty impressed with my brown rice. So, oh, aminos. So if you can't have soy sauce, good call there. They have these things called liquid aminos, which tastes like soy sauce. From what I understand, I've heard a lot of good things about it, but it doesn't have that soy. So if you have a soy sensitivity, you don't have to use soy sauce. You can use that, but it's a little more expensive, just so you guys know.
That chicken is delicious, marinated.
Oh boy. And
Yeah, I think we're good.
that's it. So you guys enjoy your food. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anyone?
So, look at everybody.
So I think, one of the questions had talked about not having enough time to cook, and this stir fry really is like a half an hour type of recipe. I mean,
Yep.
it's a
As long
pretty
as you
quick
prep.
recipe to just throw together. And if somebody had a bag of vegetables that was frozen, or some that were already cut up, super easy to just toss it on the stove when you get home.
I saw Noah mention, can you put eggs in it? You can put whatever you want in it.
Oh, I'm happy the rice turned out.
No,
I was so
good job,
nervous.
Katie. First time ever. Rice
Oh.
cooker.
I was nervous.
See how easy that is?
It was super easy.
Excuse me, is there a printout on this recipe?
It's in your packet if you come and pick it up.
Oh, I don't pick up any packets.
Okay, I did put it in your email to print off.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other? Oh, Deb, you're muted.
Thank you. We enjoyed doing this. Are you talking to us, Deb? Because
Deb,
you're
you're
muted.
You're still muted, Deb. I think that, and I'm on mute. Dang, I was on mute is the biggest phrase of 2020.
Oh, sorry. So you just want your vegetables soft?
They're kind of crunchy still.
Crunchy's good.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
It's your personal preference, of
Right.
course.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes. And then next time we meet, you will need a blender. I will tell you that. So if you don't have a blender, see what you can do. There's all kinds of different versions. If you have a hand blender, I mean, just
Immersion
keep
blender.
that in mind. You got a month before we meet again.
Mhm.
Okay. Can you add more oil or just kind of go with it? too?
Absolutely. If you can add, I didn't measure the oil. I put more in than it said, because I just need you need the pan not to get dry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh, and you did notice that the recipe, and if you did get the kit, it's pure canola oil that we use for this because it has a lower burn temperature or higher burn temperature. Yeah, whatever, it doesn't burn as easy as if you were going to use like your olive oil. Of course, peanut oil is used a lot in this kind of cooking. But this is the recommended, you know, USDA.
Right.
This is good. I can't stop eating it, so.
What else? Anything else? Toasted sesame seed oil that I love to use for stir fry. Ooh, that would be really good. I would be one, or for sure my husband, he would add probably a little bit of teriyaki sauce with it.
Oh, yes.
We like that stuff. Any recommendations on rice steamers?
I'd say Instapot
Well,
or Cooks.
yeah,
Those are the two
yeah,
I had.
Instapot. This one is an aroma. I'm gonna put the.
It looks like it's from the 70s.
Yeah, this one looks like an older box, but hey, it worked. So
Can you do that? This is Sue. Can you do, steam dumplings in that too then? Because I'm looking for something that you could use for rice and then also steaming vegetables and steaming dumplings.
I would look into an Instapot then.
Yeah,
That
Instapot.
does like everything.
Everything, like, yes, many different functions.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep.
Mm.
Anything else? Oh, right on time. It goes really quick. Ooh, rice vinegar. I've never tried that. Deb, could you make a comment on rice vinegar? Like, does it taste like vinegar or what is the flavor? Calling you out. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm trying to be more interactive with Zoom.
It's like apple cider, but not quite as hard.
All
Okay,
right.
Sure.
I would give that a try because yeah, apple cider can be a little intimidating.
Apple cider vinegar has many other uses also.
Oh yeah.
This is pure apple cider vinegar. Yes, but you can adjust your recipe to suit your tastes. So does he like it, Jamie?
I just ate the noodles. So we made spring rolls last night, and we have what are called rice noodles, and so that's what we're using as the rice noodles instead of rice.
Yeah, you'll swap it for.
But yeah, so we'll. Do you want the official review? Should I ask my husband?
Might as well.
I can ask Nick or maybe Aria. Okay.
Who's you, Aria?
Right, well, I want to respect everybody's time. So we are going to be closing up here. I think Caitlin might have some things for the next class, but I know I've had this question a lot lately. When does the registration open for the June classes? Because people want to be like the first 15, and I have no idea what the answer is to that.
We're working on it. Caitlin and I just talked about that today, that we need to get a schedule out. We will have a schedule out for the May newspaper. And that deadline is this week to get it put together. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a link that we can share with you guys to be able to sign up. So it should be coming soon.
Thank you so much for
All
coming
right,
and spending time.
Everybody. Thanks for all the veggies and recipe.
Yes, send pictures if you want to share. You can email them to me the same email I sent out the recipe. If you want to share them and let me know in the email that I can share the pictures. Thank you so much.
Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep,
All right, that's all we got, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Liz and Katie. You were awesome.
Bye, Gig
You
Woman.
did so good. Thank you.